Alright, and here we go, getting back into it with the Blizzard debacle and all the bullshit that's been going on at Blizzard. I've had to separate this into parts because there has been literally that much piles of bullshit that has been going on at Blizzard and at Activision in the gaming industry as a whole, in the technology industry in California, and in lots of parts of the United States. Women and minorities have been treated horribly. And that word completely undermines how badly that these women and minorities were treated. So today, I want to continue on the Blizzard debacle. And I actually want to give an introduction because I was so flustered last time. I didn't even introduce myself or my channel. I'm Rose, this is Rose Fox YouTube, and today we'll be talking about the douchebag Alex Afrasiabi, Asmongold, and a couple of what the content creators think about Blizzard's reaction to the state of California investigating them. And I have, I'll give my reactions probably at the end of this, and a couple of the content creators who I believe did a really good job of doing this. There we go. Pointing the right way now because my camera's backwards. Here we go. Here is Alex Frasiavi, one of the known people causing a lot of the harassment, not just standing by and, letting it happen kind of things. Here is one of the main baddies who need to be taken down. Let's look at those things. Here's Asmongold with a couple of things. I gotta recognize and I gotta thank the people. I have to thank the people and big content creators who took a stand against this.
And how many people are traumatized by this individual? I don't know what his, I can't say his name. Talks about Pierce's EA had for so many years. It's hard for me to think that you couldn't have enabled it. The investigation's been ongoing for 2 years. You left the company 2 years ago. How did you not know? Of course you knew. Of course he knew. Everybody knows that. There's no way he didn't know. I'm gonna play this real quick, and I want to talk about this just for a few minutes, and there's some other things that I want to talk about as well, okay? Let me pause the music here. I felt dirty playing the WoW music. It's weird, man. It's like I almost don't want to play the WoW music because of the situation. I don't know how long I'm gonna feel that way for. Maybe a little bit longer. It kind of just depends, man. But that's really the way that I feel. It sucks.
Let's watch. I've been seeing some shit today on Twitter, and I wanted to make a quick video about it. Obviously, there's been some disgusting, despicable, sad, disappointing shit that's happened today at Blizzard, and many people, in the most disappointing way, have used this information as a means to have a weapon to harass current Blizzard employees and people that are content creators at Blizzard. There are people who are saying that you should quit your job, you should stop streaming World of Warcraft, and I'll be honest, I feel like these opinions and these things that they're saying, and the fact that they use this as a rationalization to harass these individuals, is the pinnacle of the word that I hate to use. It's the pinnacle of privilege.
True.
I do. People relocated sometimes their whole family across the country to go work at Blizzard Entertainment. They might not have had a single fucking thing to do with this stuff in this court case, and you expect them to quit their job? Especially some of these women that are actually the victims of this, expect them to quit their job because of this situation? Abso-fucking-lutely not.
That's ridiculous.
I understand if you want to boycott it. I understand if you don't want to buy Blizzard products or support Blizzard stuff. I totally get it. But the reality is that whenever you take that lack of support and you turn that into an abundance of harassment, that's whenever you are the problem.
That's so true.
Please let the government, let the people that have done a 2-year investigation on this deliver justice.
Absolutely.
Not you and your Twitter account writing mean tweets to somebody that doesn't fucking deserve them.
True.
The reality about the Twitch streamers, the content creators, is that many of these people, for WoW especially, these are one-game Andes. These are people that are barely making it by streaming World of Warcraft. They go to another game, their stream's gonna be fucking dead.
And you know it, I know it,
everybody fucking knows it. And I don't think that it's fair to ask and expect somebody to throw away their career because of something that they had nothing to fucking do with.
Alright, and Asmongold has done a fantastic job of covering this, and Yes, we'll hear the same thing a couple of times, but like, I just gotta put the spotlight on the people who did the right thing. So thank you for the people who did the right thing. I want to listen to Bellular super quick about this news, who was a bit wishy-washy on this. I wish he could have. Bellular is a big name in this industry. Yeah, Bellular very much represents World of Warcraft. And I really wish he could have, you know, really taken a stand against some of the assholes and injustices that happened. But let's listen. He might have been flabbergasted. I don't want to burn Bellular to the ground because I like his content. I like his videos. I just wish he took a stronger stand against the company. I know that's like biting the hand that feeds you, but it's like those things that have to be done. We have to uproot the evil at its source.
That's quite troubling. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know any actual stories. I just know, like, yeah, heard things not good. I don't know if people will come out and do stuff, but it's just a bit fucking uncomfortable when you see the sort of, I just mean you see the hypocrisies, I mean, of the thing, right? So
like, he can't even say anything.
There's a bunch of that going on, including on the
Come on, Bellular. Come on, dude.
That's what's came out, and I can talk a little bit actually about why I think this has happened. Because look,
Why did it happen?
I've done what I can over the last day and a bit to try to understand this situation. You know, to sort of, you know, speak to who I can, try to get, you know, the reasonable, you know, the reasonable takes and things, like the explainers. And I guess my overall impression here is really, I think it's something you'll find to be quite simple.
It's not simple.
I don't really necessarily think it's any sort of outward cabal. I think it is basically rockstar mentality that was seeded back in the day, right? You know, rock stars.
So he has the right idea. Yeah, rockstar mentality given to the nerds, and this is kind of like what happened. I wish he gave some of the pointed out the names who were responsible, such as Alex at Astra via Alice something, Jab in particular, upper management. There's these are some of my favorite content creators from WoW that I've gone through. I haven't seen anything from Metagoblin yet. I really hope Metagoblin posts something, because this is an issue that needs to be raised anywhere, and I really feel like the people who make content for WoW, you need to make a video about this. You need to share your thoughts on this. You need to say, I do not support this. Like I do. The two videos that I have made about WoW, I'm making my stand and saying that these assholes who have treated women like this, they need to be uprooted. They need to be burned to the ground. They need to be objectified from the company. They need to have their money, their status taken from them and get sent to fucking prison for how bad that some of this stuff is. Here's another one of my favorites, Hazel, who did a great job of going over it, going over the lawsuit, Blizzard's response, Jab's response, the community's response. We'll get to the lady's name, Fran Townsend, upper management, who just made a horrible statement. And I thank each and every one of these content creators for making these videos about this. So here's what Hazel has to say.
Put up with a culture that dehumanizes women. It always starts small.
Let me go back a tiny bit.
That you can affect more directly. There are charities that support women's initiatives. I will link a couple of them in the description. I would also say, don't put up with a culture that dehumanizes women. It always starts small. It starts off with jokes and then comments and stories that are played off as jokes. You don't have to wait for a woman to get kicked out of a lactation room or groped at a party before you say something. I would also beware of the assumption that just because a woman is present at jokes like this, then it must be fine and signed off on. Many women have learned to not speak up because you get labeled as not fun and can't take a joke, and then excluded further from the spaces that you already had to fight twice as hard to get into. It's not hard to treat women like people. I think I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys tend to be pretty good eggs, but just, pay attention in your own workplaces and your own social groups where you can say something when you need to. So that's my piece. I sincerely hope that Blizzard makes actual changes to their leadership if need be. I'll believe it when I hear it from the women that work there, and if not, then I hope the courts rip them to shreds.
Yeah, that's right. Really hope the court rips them to shreds. Absolutely. We'll listen to Yangi in a second, but I'll edit some of this part out because I haven't heard this, but yeah, in the end of it, yeah, fuck you, Blizzard. Fuck you, man. I haven't heard this concert, Jim Sterling. I haven't heard what this dude has to say about it, so this is another first one for me. But I think it's so important to listen to these stories because something has to change. And we gotta get people on board. We gotta rally behind a single banner. And that's a banner behind the victims and in support of the governments that are looking to take this company, well, not, looking to get justice for those who were wronged by this company.
Fuck you. I will not personally use the phrase frat boy culture as has been used to describe the toxicity of your environment. You are adults. Many of you are old, wealthy, industry so-called leaders. This is no frat. It shouldn't be. Your culture is, well, it's evil. What you are is evil. And what you are is the video game industry. You have a video game industry culture at your video game company, and that is why it's so fucking disgusting. California Department of Fair Employment and Housing has recently brought a lawsuit to Activision's door, as reported by Bloomberg. The publisher has been investigated for 2 years, and the results are harrowing, traumatic to simply read in many cases. It practically goes without saying that, at the most basic level, the women who work at Activision Blizzard have had to deal with unfair compensation, a lack of career advancement opportunities, and undue firings. But it gets so much worse. According to the complaint filed Tuesday in the Los Angeles Superior Court, female employees make up around 20% of the Activision workforce and are subjected to a pervasive frat boy workplace culture, including cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. It's worse. Female employees working for the World of Warcraft team noted that male employees and supervisors would hit on them, make derogatory comments about rape, and otherwise engage in demeaning behavior, the agency alleges. The suit also points to a female Activision employee who took her own life while on a company trip with her male supervisor. The employee had been subjected to intense sexual harassment prior to her death, including having nude photos passed around at a company holiday party, the complaint says. The culture at Activision is reported to be one where the men get to play fucking Call of Duty all day, delegating their responsibilities to others who are then harassed, bullied, and held back. It all sounds very similar to the reported environment at Riot Games, and it seems to be a big part of game development culture. Women aren't promoted in the company because the men fear they may become pregnant, something that really casts into an even grimmer light that story from a few years back, the one where Activision was explicitly trying to find out when people in its employ may do so. I wish I had more coherent things to say, but I don't. I'm too angry and upset, and I'm sorry I haven't productive things to say after so many stories of abuse in this fucking industry after watching Ubisoft get away with years of covering for abusers, while the press ignores it and the fan base tells anyone speaking to shut up. I can only pray more people with the power to hold these companies to account do so. Even if it's something as small as refusing to cover their games as a press outlet, as a handful of outlets have now pledged, companies so rife with abuse need to be cut off, shunned, and told to go fuck themselves. People wonder openly about my lack of passion.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. God, someone who's speaking about the thing that needs to actually happen. This guy's a little bit... has a sharp tongue, but like, God, it needs to be fucking said. Let's hear it again.
Do so. Even if it's something as small as refusing to cover their games as a press outlet, as a handful of outlets have now pledged, companies so rife with abuse need to be cut off, shunned, and told to go fuck themselves. People about my lack of passion for video games lately, and all I can say is that the game industry killed it. The game industry, and the gaming community, let's be honest, the amount of fucking pushback I've had for daring to speak about this stuff more than once, but the game industry itself murdered my passion for gaming discourse. I still criticize this industry because it fucking needs it. The work needs to be done, but I'm so done. I'm so fucking done. And make no mistake, this is an industry-wide problem. The video game industry is rotten to the core. Companies like Ubisoft and Activision exemplify this, but developers at every level, from so-called AAA to indie, have been saying once again this week the things they've been honestly screaming for years. Top to bottom. The hateful attitudes and mistreatment of hardworking people is systematic across all of video game creation, and it is so horribly, horribly cruel. There's been much hand-wringing from those within the industry, those in comfortable positions, about how to fix this. And here's the brutal fucking truth for you. There is no fixing this. You can't fix rot. You can only cut it out, burn it out, destroy everything it touches to stop it spreading. And this has not been done. Ever. For decades, the game industry has been allowed to fester, dominated by men who will not be questioned, not be disciplined, only told time and time again by the men above them that they will get away with anything up to and including rape. Whenever exposed to the wider public, there may be some firing.
I'd have to say worse, up to including bullying that leads to suicide. So they're getting away. Let me make this clear. Some of these people are actually getting away with murder. And as someone who within my own family has seen someone in my own family get murdered and see another person get away with murder, actual fucking murder, yeah. I'm gonna stand out and say that's wrong. And say that that needs to be burned to the fucking ground. It needs to be uprooted, taken out. All of the executives need to be held accountable and replaced with people, with professionals who actually know how to do their job. This is why the gaming industry is hurting so bad right now. This is why the gaming industry is hurting so bad. Because these companies don't even know how to share the same playground with people. And it's sickening.
Symbolic ones mostly, as the men who oversaw it all, the CEOs and highest-ranking executives, the old guard scumbags who enable the new guard scumbags, continue to oversee their cruel little kingdoms and get away without ever taking real responsibility for the things they've helped perpetuate. Those that are fired can even keep their shares in the company, often given as part of their obscene compensation packages, and they can continue to profit from the hard work of people they terrorized. In this industry, the marginalized exist to be delegated to while the men play their video games. They work hard, these people who are delegated to, and are passed over time and again for career advancement, while the lion's share of the massive profits coming in go to a handful of men in the form of millions of dollars in salaries and more in bonuses. The sheer self-entitlement from adults behaving like little boys is off the fucking charts. You can't fix any of that. You cannot fix Ubisoft as long as Yves Guillemot and his family runs it. You can't fix Activision as long as Bobby Kotick governs it with...
I fucking hate that dude. I fucking hate him. Ugh. God, the sight of him makes me want to puke. Oh my god.
billions of dollars and not one single fuck to give. You can't fix the indie space while so few care, and those who speak up are bullied by developer and gamer alike. You cannot fix an industry where this culture is so pervasive, from mainstream development to independent development, that minorities struggle to get into it and then want to flee when they finally do. Oh, and fuck Insomniac as well. The closest we can get is unionization, for employees to have some protections enshrined by themselves and not the corporation that doesn't give a damn whether workers literally live or die. Human resources at these companies are not going to help those who have been abused. HR is there to look after company interests, as we've seen in these allegations in the past. Now, unionization is not the solution, but it is something. The people who work on all those video games you love have no protections and are not compensated fairly. They're mistreated and abused constantly and consistently. They need representation. Video game development has become so dehumanizing, and that's the way publishers like it. We're told of the 500-strong teams putting together major open-world video games, but we're lucky if we can name a single individual human working on them. The general public mostly knows of game developers simply as logos. We know the studios, but not the people, and those people can't even guarantee they'll get their names in the end credits, such as this industry's habit of not crediting people if they leave projects or otherwise fail to please their masters with 100% loyalty. But make no mistake, more than unionization, what this industry truly needs is, well, revolution. I've been accused of becoming too radicalized lately, but frankly, I don't know how any of you can repeatedly see so many stories of corporate excess, so many examples of systemic abuse embedded in the industry, and not become radicalized on some level. Developers won't be free until they seize the means of development. While overpaid and undereducated men occupy positions of power without a single restraint on them, this will only continue. Workers still report feeling unsafe at Ubisoft. Those implicated in abuse, those who enabled it, have been given big projects since the allegations came out. And look at how many reckonings we've had. The Me Too movement, the Speaking Out movement, the examples that have been made of the few abusers actually jettisoned, only when the heat got too hot. And yet, these abusers continue to do it. They're not scared of repercussions because they've lived so long without consequence for action that the very concept is alien to them. When something is broken beyond repair, it's a fool's errand to keep trying to repair it. The video game industry is broken beyond repair. The press refuses en masse to hold it to any long-term account. The public just wants everyone to shut up, play video games, and unquestioningly consume. You cannot repair this. You can only burn it to the ground. Fuck you, Activision. Fuck all of it. I hate it all. I can only once again apologise for my own early career, how I helped feed gamer attitudes with my edgy bullshit. I'll never stop apologising for that. I'll never stop holding myself to account for that. And this industry is so desperately in fucking need of accountability. Not little pledges to do better, as some people in Activision have said, while others have said all these allegations are rubbish. Certainly not stony silence, as most of the leaders of these companies like to indulge in. And certainly not hiding behind HR. It stands for human resources, for God's sake, and that's what these executives see their workers as. Resources, like fuel or office stationery. And in many cases, they see them only as victims to exert their power over. And I'm sorry right now that I have so little of worth to say. You know, I just know people were looking forward to this episode. They told me, but I honestly don't know why. There is nothing fun about this, no go get 'em Sterling. Because I tell you what, there is no getting 'em. Bobby Kotick doesn't know me. Yves Schwimmo doesn't know me. They don't care. Maybe a united front in game coverage, but that would cost far too many journalists their precious access and review copies. Yeah, well, the fact so many of these publishers don't talk to me, the fact so many of them don't give me games anymore, that's a source of goddamn fucking pride for me. Oh no, I've been shut out of an industry full of sexual predators. Whatever will I do? Fuck the lot of them. Fuck this industry. They're not getting punished by those who could do it. Nobody fucking cares. They need to be burnt out, and none of us watching this or speaking right now have a flamethrower big enough for the roaches. I'll say what I said last year. Investigate every video game company. I said this when there was an avalanche of allegations to begin with. It's not enough to wait for brave people to come forward with stories of their trauma. Every video game company, everything in video games needs investigation the way Activision Blizzard has been investigated. Top to bottom. It needs investigating, it needs flushing, it needs gutting, it needs burning down completely. Only with a complete rebuild from scratch will the monsters be driven out. Will the game industry truly be quote unquote fixed? And I hate to say it, I hate to say I have no solution that's actually feasible, but I just don't think it's possible. Not until the guillotines come out. As well as the people looking forward to Monday to hear about all this, there have been those that have talked about how validating it is and how I've been right all along because I've been talking about this for so long when so many other people in games coverage stopped. I don't feel validated, I feel sick. And ultimately, I haven't done anything. I've just kept banging a drum. It's the people who came forward because that's the only recourse people have, is to risk their entire careers, is to risk being pilloried and made a pariah and harassed and abused online. It's the bravery of the victims of these predators coming forward. That's what deserves all the thanks in the world. That's what deserves all the credit in the world. It feels inappropriate, having said that, to end with the usual thank God for me stuff. Just fuck the game industry. Just fucking hell. Can you not? No, you can't. Burn it.
I just feel so wronged by the gaming industry that I'm just learning about this now. A lot of content creators feel that way. I'm able to share a whole lot about my feelings or get into some of the big names and the mistakes that they've made during this investigation, but we'll get to that next time. For now, again, I really don't know what to say to end this, but if you'd like to support the victims of this sexual harassment, please like and subscribe. These videos and the videos that the content creators have made showing their support, standing against sexual harassment and standing against these companies who have such a terrible workplace culture. It just disheartens me so much that some of my favorite things that I loved and grew up with just have do such terrible things to people. Like, I feel sickened, I feel gross. It's a lot to think about, it's a lot to process. That's why I wanted to make these videos. I've loved video games since the time I was a tot and just a teeny little kid. And when my friends and I got cards, we used to make our parents' basement look like this. And we had so much fun. I had so much fun doing this in high school rather than drinking and doing drugs. You know, I didn't do that stuff in high school. out with my friends and I played video games. Some clean, safe fun. And that's why learning about these is just so disheartening. Again, please like and subscribe to support this ongoing investigation, because I will be releasing more content about it. I'll see you guys next time. This is Rose Fox, and more Blizzard debacle next time. We'll wrap it up and we'll hear about the names, and we'll hear what Blizzard has done since they found out they were being investigated. See you next time.